from the ATL and beyond.
Brittany, how are you? I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, not since like this afternoon.
True, like half an hour ago, really. How have you been? Did you get my postcard?
I did. Where have you been this summer?
Nowhere. How about you?
Home, stay home.
Home, stay home. Speaking of, so our theme tonight is summer fun, vacations, all those kinds of good things.
Yeah.
So
first.
Yes, we've got a poll for everybody, right?
We do.
Yes.
We'll drop that.
Yes, let's drop this poll. So would you do me the honors of reading it, Britt?
Yes. What is your favorite place to go on vacation? We have the mountains, the beach, Disney World, staycation, and Megan's favorite, anywhere. Get me out of the house.
That is my vote. But let's see everyone else's vote.
I know. Let's see. We've got a good crowd here tonight. Let's see what we're looking at.
Okay, lots of
nobody is voting for Disney World.
No one. Disney haters. Okay, got it.
Horizon and Disney not together.
Look, I'm not the only one who wants to get on the house. I'm just saying there are already four votes. Yes.
I would love to leave. I love the beach.
Okay, the beach. Yes, it looks like the beach is winning.
Yeah. Okay, come on, beach.
I do love the beach.
Yes, but I love a good beach, not a bad beach.
There's no bad beach, Brittany.
I hate Myrtle Beach.
What? Wait, hold on. Stop.
I'm just keeping it real.
Why do you hate Myrtle Beach?
I'm from South Carolina, and everybody goes to Myrtle Beach on vacation, and it's so exciting. And newsflash, it's not. Okay. The water is dark. It's dirty. They shut down my favorite theme park, the Pavilion.
What? I've never even heard of this theme park. Tell me about this theme park.
It was great. It was better than Disney World because it was cheap. That's probably why they shut down, because they didn't make any money. Myrtle Beach is the worst. And everybody always wants to go there and rent a house together as a family. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to Myrtle Beach. Okay, where do you not want to go, Megan?
That's a lot. Wait, what did you say?
I said, where do you not want to go?
Where do I not want to go?
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe Alabama.
Okay.
But that's only because my family's from there. So that's a blanket statement about the entire state, which, sorry if you're from Alabama. Like, I just have, okay, so maybe not Lafayette, Alabama.
Okay.
I would rather not vacation. Have you even heard of Lafayette? That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Okay. Got it. Maybe it's like Myrtle Beach.
There's no beach. And the nearest town is Opelika, which is like 40 miles. So Auburn, Opelika. So it's 40 miles away from that. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would rather not go there.
Yeah. I've heard of Auburn.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Also, I feel like this is a perfect segue into introducing the woman behind the show and also seeing where she doesn't want to go.
Right.
Lisa Adler. Yes.
I'll tell you where I do want to go. You didn't put Charleston, New Orleans, and Paris on the list. So I'm like a city girl vacation. I'm going to the city on that. Some cool city on my vacation is where I am.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
He was ready. Lisa was ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go somewhere with the stuff. But we've got a great lineup tonight of fabulous artists. We're so excited to have them with us. Some people that, if you're in our Horizon audience, you know well. We have Enoch King and Lala Cochran here, who have been on stages many times. Enoch telling us about theatrical summers. Lala telling us about her naked summer, which I personally can't wait to hear about. And then we have some other folks with us that I don't know as well. Tally, who is apparently an incredible comedian, who I cannot wait to hear her wonderful story. And also Quentin, who is a singer, songwriter, and is joining us of all things from summer camp. Woohoo! Where he is having the summer teaching. So there we go. So that's what we got coming up. We hope you'll stay with us. We got 5 people, and I'm going to pass it back to you guys and take this on.
You didn't answer where you don't want to go.
Where I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Well, where I don't want to go is, I don't really love going to the mountains that much. I'm a beach or city kind of gal. So
okay, bold. All right.
Yeah.
So no Colorado Rockies for you.
Well, that's a little different, but I did.
Okay.
I meant like the nearby.
So no Blue Ridge Mountains for you.
Yeah.
No Alps for you.
Yeah.
Forget the
I'm
Alps.
probably not Phoenix right now, if you know what I mean.
Oh, got it.
Although Arizona is one of my favorite places. I love Arizona.
I have not been to Arizona. I might have to check that out.
It's really, really hot there. Really hot.
That's a nut. Without water, that's a negative.
Yeah, it's hot. They say, oh, that 115 is it's not humid. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
It is a dry heat, but it doesn't change the fact that it is oven-like. So
All right.
Okay. So,
Lisa,
well, speaking of that, thank you, Lisa. Speaking of that, please drop all of your best and worst vacation stories in our chat.
Oh, yes, please. We want to know.
We want to know why the Blue Ridge Mountains suck. I don't know where they are. Why you don't like Myrtle Beach. Why is it all negative vacations?
And why do you love Paris? Or
Why you love Paris?
All the best and worst. And we want all the sorted details, because I feel like tonight we're going to get some sorted details from our storytellers.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Should we bring up our first story?
I think we should let everybody know the show runs about 90-ish minutes.
Yes, thank you, Brittany. You are so on top of it. Yes, the show runs 90 minutes.
We have 4 storytellers and 1 singer-songwriter. And you're going to hear from our first one now.
I'm so excited. All right, so our first storyteller, Tally, is a homegrown Atlanta girl doing stand-up comedy because it's cheaper than therapy. Which, yes, you can catch her at venues such as the Laughing Skull or Second Self Brewery, telling stories about her family, friends, and several hilarious relationships. And her podcast, Jokes on You, will be having a live recording August 5th at 7 p.m. And you can find out all about her what doings and everything about that on social media. Her handle, we'll also put it in the chat, is Tally Berry Baby. So please welcome to the virtual stage, Tally.
Hi. Hello. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to be here. I've never done anything like this before. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Sucks not getting that one-on-one.
I'm hearing some noise in the background.
I'm hearing that too.
I need time to really take our relationship to the next level.
Wait a minute. What is going on out here?
I fixed it. I think I fixed it.
Does that happen? It's happening. Especially the guy.
What's happening?
Okay.
That
So
was amazing.
in the middle of me saying how nervous I was, that happened. So I'm going to start over. I'm so glad for folks.
And my
Okay. I'm so glad to be here. Let me stop saying I'm nervous. I feel like that's what's making the noise come back on. I'm so happy to be here. I was laughing earlier when someone mentioned not wanting to go to Alabama. I was born in Alabama. I'm not from there. I spent maybe like a week there, but I was born in Alabama. It is an awful, awful place. So you're absolutely correct. Don't spend any time there if you don't have to. But I'm gonna tell a story about a road trip, funny enough, to Alabama with my mother. So some background, my mother and I, when I was a teenager, well, actually all my life, we took the same trip to Mississippi every summer, right? So usually we'd start with Mississippi to see my grandma, and then we'd travel to Alabama to see my aunt who lives in Huntsville. This particular summer, I think I was like 15 years old, and somehow the plan changed to drive straight to Alabama, which I don't really like change. If you know me at all, that's not really my brand. I like things to stay on schedule. I like us to do what we said we were gonna do. And plus I really enjoyed going to Mississippi and seeing my cousins. So I was already pissed. You've met teenagers. And I just wanted to be uninvolved this trip. I wanted to sit in the back with my headphones on and be mad for absolutely no reason. I did not want anybody to talk to me. Also, I would like to add that it was like uncomfortably hot and rainy that day. Like it was a really hot July rainy summer day, and it wasn't like cold rain, like the rain that makes sense where you're like, fine, it's rain. It was like hot rain that makes everybody mad. It was basically soup falling from the sky is how it felt. It felt like soup was coming from the sky. So me and my mom were already just not on the same page. We weren't doing great. But my mom and I, we packed up the car in what can only be described as broth falling from the sky. And I had my MapQuest directions. I don't know how old any of you are, but back in my day, we didn't have GPS. GPS was a luxury that you had to go and buy from Best Buy and plug into your car. It wasn't on your phone. That wasn't happening yet. So your mom would be like, yeah, go in there and print off the directions from MapQuest, and that's your job. If I miss a turn, I don't know if we're supposed to cuss, but my mom would say, that's your ass if I miss a turn, right? Because if you miss a turn, the whole thing got thrown off and you were just lost. You had to stop at a gas station, buy a map. It was a whole thing. So, and this when the internet costed money on your phone. It was just bad, like all around. Like if you missed a turn, basically, like you were just screwed. So I took my MapQuest responsibility seriously. I don't like to tarry. I don't like to dilly-dally. I wanted to get where we were going. So we get on the road, and we're on the road for about an hour. Both my mom and I were just silent, and we're angry. And neither of us were really mad at each other. We were just hot. And the rain made the car like musty, if that makes sense. Like the rain was like, I don't know, it was like we were inside of like a baked potato, if that makes sense. And the AC in my mom's Jeep at the time wasn't really like doing well, and she just refused to fix it for whatever reason. So we're just hot in the car. We're both minding our business and decided it was best to leave the other one alone. So I look down at my MapQuest page, my computer paper, and I see a line on it that says something mountain. And so I'm like, hey, mom, I think we're about to drive through a mountain. And she's like, we ain't about to drive through no damn mountain. And I said, you know what? Okay, girl, do you? I'm just letting you know what the paper says, because y'all pay for me to go to school to read. And I read it and it says mountain. She's like, whatever, we're not about to drive through no mountain. I've driven this road before. I said, okay, you got it. So we drive about 30 more minutes. And what do you know? A big giant red sign that says mountain ahead. 10 miles, drive with caution. So I'm sarcastic. The only person here who knows me is Amy. But I have always been sarcastic my entire life. And I was like, would you look at that? A mountain. Like I said, who would have thunk it? A big sign that says mountain, like I just told you a half hour ago. So my mom, after calling me a name that I will not repeat in front of you lovely people, she just yeets the car to the side of the road. It's like she turned the wheel like a cartoon character and she parks it. She turns her hazards on. She says, I can't do this. You're going to have to drive. Mind you, I'm 15. I've had next to no driving experience. I don't even have a learner's permit at this point. So I'm like, with all due respect, ma'am, you have lost your damn mind. You don't even let me drive on real roads with real people, just empty parking lots. And you want me to scale a mountain? No, ma'am. So we sit in silence for what feels like 15 minutes, even though I'm sure it was just 5. And she looks at me and she says, I'll tell you what. And I know it's already about to be some foolishness, because whenever my mom says, I'll tell you what, it's about to be some trouble. Like it's never positive when my mom says, I'll tell you what. So she says, I'll tell you what, either you drive over this mountain or we're turning around and we're going back to Atlanta. So I look at her and I said, for real? That's the best you could come up with, huh? Those are the best 2 options that you could figure out for where we are right now. And she's like, look, that's just where I'm at right now. So let me know what you want to do, because that's where my mind is. So I said, okay, we're not going home. So I pretended to be an adult, right? I was like, okay, I'm an adult. I buy things. I have money. I'm trying to like get into character. I'm like, yes, I go to the mailbox. All of these wonderful adult things. I drive cars. I get groceries. Let's do it. So I'm in my character and I get behind the wheel of my mom's giant Jeep. First of all, this is not a car that should be driving on a mountain. I know you see the Jeep commercials and they're like, oh yeah, drive it up a mountain, drive it through the mud. It's too big. It's too big and it's scary. So I get in the car. She's barely telling me what to do. She's like, you should know how to put the car in drive. And I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm doing the best that I can. So as soon as I put the car in drive, War of the Worlds style rain starts falling as soon as I put the car in drive. So I'm like, perfect. I'm going to murder myself. I'm going to murder my mother. It's going to be all in the news. This is going to be great, right? So I start driving up the mountain. I'm going maybe like 10 miles an hour, which I'm sure was illegal. I'm sure I should have been going faster than that. And it's like a 2-lane mountain highway. And it's very narrow. It's just like a ribbon of road. And the side that we're driving on is not the safe side that's accessible by like EMTs and ambulances, it's the muddy death side. It's the side where if you fall off, you're just gone, right? Like that's it for you. Go ahead and clock out. You about to meet Jesus, right? So I'm driving and I'm like, perfect. We got the murder side of the road. Everything's gonna be fine. If I just stick to the yellow, in the middle of the road, everything's gonna be cool. So there's this driver coming in a sports car. I don't remember what kind of car, but coming in a sports car down the other side, like towards us, very obviously drunk. And I have had limited experiences with drunk drivers, but there's no other explanation for how he was driving. He was just like weaving in and out of both sides of the traffic, going as fast as he possibly could. So I said, you know what? This is it. I told my mom, I said, look, I'm doing the best I can. You see this coming down the highway just like I see it. It's fine. So I'm having this paralyzing fear. I'm like, this driver's going to hit us because he's like hitting the rocky side of the mountain. So like the side of the road that's on the rocky side, the side of his car is like scraping it. So I'm like, cool, he's going to hit us. We're going to careen off the side of this mountain. We're going to land in a ravine, and the rain made everything muddy. So the ambulance won't be able to come and get us because we're going to be stuck in the mud on the side of a mountain. My dad's going to be all alone. It's going to be terrible. And in the midst of me having this panic attack, my mother, who bore me, who's responsible for me, puts her head in between her kneecaps and starts to cry. So I said, I know you ain't over there crying. I'm 15. I need your help. I shouldn't even be doing this. My life is just getting started. You lived. Why am I driving? You got the nerve to be sitting over there crying. So we're yelling back and forth. It's tears streaming down both of our faces. It's awful. So after driving for what seemed like an eternity, we finally reached the base of the mountain. We pull over to the side of the road to switch seats. As soon as we pulled over, the rain stopped. So that makes me think that maybe I've done something wrong to the Lord. Because why would you do that? Why would you make it rain when I was just like, do we have beef, God? Like, did you need to talk to me about something? So I pull over, it stops raining, and my mother is like sobbing. She's going on and on about how brave I am and how much she loves me. And when I say I did not speak to her for the rest of the trip, and like for the next 2 weeks, I could not formulate a sentence that was more than 2 or 3 words with her. I'm not playing with you. Don't you ever do nothing like that to me again. Spoiler alert, she did do something like that to me again, but on a bridge. But that's a different story. That's my story. My mom is my best friend. We're fine. She just is kind of crazy, but that's where we're at. But that's my story. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was so great, Sally. That was hilarious.
Sally, that was hilarious.
It was rain like that today. The angry rain.
Yes.
Yes.
That's messed up. I liked your description of the soup. I also want to point out that my mother's on this Zoom, and she also made me drive on a mountain in the snow. That's a story for another time. And it's true in West Virginia.
How old were you?
19. So Tally had it worse. I mean, 15, that was worse, but I get it. She was scared, I understand. I appreciate your MapQuest reference. Like, thanks for taking us there, Tally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where were you? I missed what mountain you were on.
I think it may have been Lookout Mountain. I don't recall, but it may have been whatever that mountain is that connects Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia.
Yeah, that's scary up there. It's scary up going up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that when you said the death side of the road, I felt that in my soul.
Absolutely. We've all been there if we've driven
on the death side. Oh.
Why is there a death side? Thank you, Tally. Why is that a side?
Why would you put a road right here? The Lord said people don't need to go here if it wasn't space for a road.
I love that. That's true. It's not space.
We're not supposed to go here if it's vertical.
So how old were you when you had to go over I know that's another story, but how old were you when you had to go over the bridge?
I wasn't a kid. I may have been like 21 or 22, and my cousin was getting married in New Orleans. My mother and I had never driven there. We'd always flown. And I don't know what the name of the bridge is, but it's awful. And it's like 1,000 miles long.
Yeah,
it's rickety, like the bridge from Shrek. I don't know if y'all have seen Shrek, but it's like that kind of deal. It's really bad. And she, again, put her head between her knees there and cried. So
she just leans on you, Tally. She just leans on you. Shout out to your mom for just leaning on you for support.
That's my baby. I love her.
Yeah.
I love that you guys are still close and there's no like bad blood or anything.
Right.
Mountain incident.
No, it's all fine. It's
all good. It's all good. Sally, tell everyone where we can catch you next and see you. I know Megan kind of missed something in your intro, but let people know.
So I have a show. I don't know exactly where it is, but if you follow me on social media, you can find it. I know I have a show on the 29th. I don't know where. And then also my podcast, which it's kind of raunchy. So if you're not a raunchy person, it's not something you want to tune into. But my podcast is having a live recording. We've been doing this for almost a year and a half. So we're doing a live recording downtown by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're going to have treats and drinks and wine and all kinds of things. So if you follow me on social media, the link to that is in my bio. The ticket's there. And that's what I've got going on.
What's your podcast name?
My podcast name is Jokes on You.
Yes.
Thank you.
And it's 3 of us. It's 3 comedians. We are 3 young Black lady comedians here in Atlanta. We became friends because the comedy scene is kind of weird here and men are creepy. So we were like, we're gonna go to all these shows together so we don't get crazy murdered. And then we started doing a podcast. So
that's smart.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Creative and avoiding crazy murder. That's what's better than that.
Yeah, smart.
Oh gosh, thank you, Taylor. You're so hilarious.
Yes.
thank you so much.
Kelly.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
great.
so
Yeah,
much.
we'll have to have you back for another show because you were
I know.
fantastic.
I have a bazillion stories. My childhood was very, 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 it was an emotional roller coaster. So
Here for it.
We need to do like a family, like a family origin story themed
Oh,
night.
that's a good one, Megan. Yeah, going into
Christmas.
Thanksgiving. Let's talk about some.
Holidays,
What'd you say?
holidays maybe.
Holidays, right? Holiday. That's what I was thinking. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're
There's
set
so
to
much
that.
pressure the holidays to for them to be joyful and happy.
Yeah. Thank you, Tally, so much.
Sally, you're the best. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Guys. She's so funny, right?
I know. I'm going to go listen to that podcast. I listen to lots of podcasts in my AirPods while my kid watches Sesame Street.
So that's kind of a staycation for you.
Yeah, I love them.
You mean you're not right there with Sesame Street, Brittany? What kind of mother are you?
Yeah, nah, Lisa, I just come in for the intro song and dip out. Dance a little bit, get out, listen to my podcast. Yep.
Has Michael Hope been on? I guess Michael Hope been anywhere yet outside of Atlanta, like vacation wise?
Michael Hope is Brittany's.
Oh yes, my
baby.
baby. Yes, she went to Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
Not Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but Columbia.
There you go.
I'm gonna
She's
take you
dedicated back to the Lord. What'd you say?
I'm gonna take you to Myrtle Beach for your birthday.
Megan, do not.
It's happening.
My mother-in-law has trying to get me to go to Myrtle Beach for like 5 years. And I keep telling her, don't book a house at Myrtle Beach. I'm not coming. Don't book it. I'm not
I've
coming.
heard somebody hate on Myrtle Beach so much, but I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yes. Okay. So I think should we go on to again, if you have a summer vacation story, please put it in the chat. Should we introduce our next storyteller?
Yep. I'll introduce Miss Wendy Melkonian. Our next storyteller has been seen in theaters all over town, including the world premiere of Sister Act at the Alliance, and most recently in Skin Tight at Actors Express. She was just named Best Actress at the Lynette Film Festival for her work in Giovanni's short film, Eat Your Heart Out. And she's learning to adjust to this new Zoom format because it brings together 2 of her greatest loves, theater and her dogs. I personally had the pleasure of sharing the stage with Wendy at Outfront's production of Sordid Lives, where we cut it up. Give it up for Miss Wendy Melkonian.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I get to talk about summer camp, which I'm so excited to do. And I just wish that life could be more like summer camp. Why can't it be? Summer camp is my absolute favorite place on this planet to this day. It's in the beautiful North Georgia mountains. I've gone to sleepaway camp since I was 9 years old, and I didn't miss a year until I was 27. Yes, I became a staff member in the meantime, but okay. And I missed 1 year, and it was the summer before my senior year of high school. And it was because I went to a music program at Northwestern University because my mom said it would look good on my resumes for college. And I didn't even want to go. I didn't even know if I wanted to go to college. I was so sad to miss this 1 year of camp because it was going to be my first year as a staff member. And I was really bummed out that I couldn't go. I was only 16 years old and they were putting us on staff already. But so I didn't really understand the concept of college other than the fact that it got me out of the house and was Sam's parents. And so I looked at this music program and thought, if this helps me get to where I want to go, which is away from the house, it seems sort of worth it-ish to do. So I went. And needless to say, I wanted to get out of the house prior to my college years, and camp gave the perfect respite for that for 4 to 8 weeks out of the year with the greatest people on the planet. And summer camp is full of things I would have never, ever, ever done had I not gone, including rock climbing on Blood Mountain, which is in the Appalachian Mountains, you guys, not the Blue Ridge, not the Rockies, it's not the Alps, but the beautiful Blood Mountain in the Appalachians. And we would do 3 to 4 day hikes where we'd have to camp each night in the Appalachian Mountains with my fellow cabin mates. And then I got to do it again years later as a counselor with 12, 15-year-old girls. Whew. And then I spent 24 hours solo in the wilderness, and we just were given a sleeping bag, a ration of food, pen and paper, flashlight, and 3 matches, and said, go survive. And I did it. And it was very empowering. They also had ropes course, and we had mud fights, and we sang songs around the campfire. And there were just so many of those unforgettable, unique experiences. These were not only that, but they were also inaugural experiences. So many of my firsts happened at summer camp, including that first mud fight and the first solo. But I wanted to share a couple of them with you. So here they are. My first kiss, Robbie Kotze, and it was on our way back to the cabins one night, and I immediately felt sick to my stomach and broke up with him the next day. I was 12, you know. My first cigarette, Virginia Slims, menthol, and I liked it. The first time I smoked pot was not at camp, but the first time I enjoyed it was. And then I kept enjoying it quite a bit for one particular summer. Side note, parents, you need to know that when you send your kids to summer camp to be supervised by teens and young adults, that you can expect that said supervision is going to be the caliber of one that was executed by such teens and young adults, just FYI. I dated the guy from the waterfront staff, and he was high all summer long while in charge of children in the water. Speaking of my first real boyfriend, CJ, the waterfront guy I was just telling you about, he and I met as staff members at summer camp. I took him home to meet my parents and everything, and I knew it was a good thing because when I kissed him, I didn't have a stomach ache, and that was good. I would later learn that these stomach aches that I was having were actually anxiety attacks, and probably stemming from the fact that I have a Jewish mother, Ruthie, the one I wanted to get away from earlier in the story. Oh, and she was thrilled to learn that CJ was one of only 5 staff members at this camp that wasn't Jewish at my Jewish sleepaway camp. Very happy about that. And the first time I had sex was with him, but it wasn't at camp. It was back home at my parents' house 2 nights after camp ended. Sorry, Ruthie. The first time, and the only time, come to think of it, that I did co-ed skinny dipping was in a big group of friends at camp. And it seriously was the most magical night. It was like the song from REM, Night Swimming. It just was that embodied in this evening. The first time I had gal pals that I could really talk to about anything. At camp, it all hangs out you're really close with everybody and you can't hide anything from them. I mean, we showered, we shaved together, and I learned the correct way to use a tampon with these people. Thanks to them, thank God. As a staff member, together we would have pooping dates. Yes, you heard me right. My best friends from camp, Marcy Florsheim, who's watching right now, shout out, and Lori Krugman and I would have pooping dates right after breakfast every day. Some days I didn't even have to poop. I just went for the company, and I wouldn't miss those hilarious, magical times in the bathroom stalls off of the dining hall. Pooping was a badge of honor at camp. And as opposed to those girls that I was friends with back home who never talked about pooping or farting or sex once you had it. Before you had sex, it was talked about all the time, but we always knew when someone had sex because they stopped talking and they never wanted to talk while they were pooping. I'm not even sure they even pooped. No one would sit in a stall next to me and talk to me while I pooped, which makes this next story very awkward. It was my senior year of high school. I grew up for the most part in Atlanta in a suburb called Sandy Springs, and I went to the public high school. I was a little offbeat, but was very good at pretending to be whatever I thought those around me needed to be. So, see, that's why camp was so great. I can't even remember a time that I felt like that once during my time there. I could just totally be myself. Even when I was breaking up with Robbie Kotze, nobody said everyone said I shouldn't, but the stomachache wasn't going to go away until I did. And so I did, and they loved me anyway. Anyway, on the weekends during the school year in high school, we would all gather at Chastain Park to hang out like teenagers do, and a few other schools in the area would do the same, and it became quite the hot spot on Saturday nights. Now, one of these Saturday nights, I was hanging out like we teenagers do, and all of a sudden, I had to poop. There were no bathrooms at this park. You had to get in the car and drive to a McDonald's that was at least a mile away. Kim drove my friend Monique and I that night, and I asked Kim if she could please just take me to the McDonald's real quick. But instead, she just said dismissively, "Oh, we're leaving in a few minutes anyway." So with that, I just had to pretend that it was just pee, and it wasn't really that urgent. But then it got really urgent, and it wasn't pee. And I really tried to play it cool for the first few minutes, and the urgency came in waves. And so for a few moments, I thought maybe the situation isn't as imminent as I thought. But the precious moment would end, and pooping was back to being mandatory and imminent. And at this point in the story, you're probably wondering, right? As a camp kid, why didn't I just poop in the bushes, huh? Right? Don't you think I thought of that? Of course I thought of that. I'd done it a bunch of times at camp, but there were no bushes in this park. Tons of trees, none of which were big enough to hide behind, and all the rest of the park was wide open. A baseball field, playgrounds, and a huge golf course. Nowhere to go, and my colon didn't care because the poop was gonna come and it didn't care where. I inconspicuously removed myself from the crowd of teens. Some people I knew, some strangers, crushes that I had, all of them were way cooler than I, especially in that moment. And then it came. Yes, I shit my pants. As the physical relief washed over me, the emotional shame and dread replaced it. I was in the middle of Chastain Park with about 150 other teenagers, and there was poop in my pants. Thank God I was wearing pants and not a skirt, and my underwear, and there was nowhere to go. And I still had to ride in Kim's car in order to get home. Reminder, this was the age before cell phones. Like it was spoken about before. No MapQuest, no cell phones. Yeah, I couldn't even call my mom to come get me, even though I'm not really sure that she would have anyway, to be honest, but that's for another storytelling day. So yes, we're finally driving home. I am in the front seat of Kim's car. Yes, sitting in my own shit. And by the grace of the universe, somehow, some way, I didn't smell it. And neither did Kim or Monique. I spent the whole time so scared that they would know and just praying that this lack of stink would continue. And then we just get to the top of the hill just before turning on my street. And I'm feeling that, oh my God, almost there, almost there. And she stops the car. Look, Kim said, fireworks. And as we sat at the top of this hill and looked, there was indeed a beautiful display of fireworks happening somewhere in the distance. And we had this perfect spot just perched at the top of the hill, 100 meters from my front door, where I could cleanse myself of this horrible incident. Finally, she pulls into my driveway. I get out. I immediately turn my back and check the seat to see if where I was sitting. Thank God, nothing. And then there it was, the smell. It came crashing through the car like a bolt of lightning, and there was no denying it. And both girls sat in the car and recognized that undeniable thing. Ew, ew, as Kim, I remember her doing this. Ew, ew. And I played along with it and just kept going, yeah, that's gross. Oh, it's disgusting. I wonder where that came from. Shut the car door and waved as they pulled out of the driveway with all of their windows rolled down. I was careful not to turn my back until they were very, very gone. And then I ran into the house to cleanse and cry. Now, if it were Marcy or Lori in that car, rather than Kim and Monique, I would never have had to hide it. I would never have hid it from them. First, they would have helped me find a place to go potty, or at least shared a sweatshirt to tie around my waist. Second, if this happened at camp, it would have been hilarious in the moment. We would have been laughing the whole time. Third, well, maybe not the whole time, but I would have found the laughter through the tears at that point. Third, if they were the ones in the car when I got dropped off at my house, I would have stepped out of the car as the waft of poop filled the air, and I would have slammed the car door and said, love you, bitches, and I promise to burn this sweatshirt. This is just one way that camp and the people that were there could make this world a better place. Camp had a 50th anniversary weekend a few years ago, and I slept in a bunk bed in a cabin with the same gals that I had been campers with 30 years before. It was honestly the best weekend of my life, and I wish it could have lasted forever. Man, I miss having more firsts, and I miss camp. Thanks for listening to my gross story, and hope I haven't lost your respect.
Yay!
No, more respect, even more respect.
So much respect. Oh, I love that.
So good.
Oh, doggies.
Your dog agrees. See, your dog loved it.
And now they're, okay, it's all good, it's all good.
Margie and Steve were waving. Is that Margie from your story? No?
What?
Was that your friend waving that you were talking about from your story?
No.
No, she's not.
We loved it. That was, I'm telling you, to have the grace to tell that story and do such a fabulous job without inhibitions. Go, girl.
Yeah.
You, Margie. Your house looks beautiful.
We love you, Margie.
Thank you.
That's our board chair, Margie.
And I love camp so much. I just had a reunion myself with my camp friends.
Oh, yay.
What camp was it, Wendy? What was the camp?
This Camp Barney Meddens up in
Oh, yeah.
Georgia.
And I went to Blue Star.
You did?
Yeah.
Rivals. We were
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So cool.
Fun.
That
Best
was-
part of my life. Yeah,
Isn't it though? I mean, it really, so you get it. You totally get it.
totally get it. Still love it. Be a camper in a minute.
In a second, I would.
Thank you. It's a great story.
Technology.
Y'all are rocking it.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Yeah, that was a great story.
That was
Wendy.
great.
I love the poop thing, Wendy. That was unique. I was expecting it to be a sex theme, but it ended up being a poop thing, which is much more interesting.
Lisa,
And honestly, like,
yes, if you had to choose, like, is Wendy more fluent in sex or poop?
but also, Wendy, like, real talk. I mean, everybody has a poop their pants story.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
this the other
Absolutely.
day. I said, because Sarah Silverman had a great show that was very short lived called I Love You America. And it's when our last person was president. And she was going to all different towns in small towns in America and trying to connect with people who thought totally differently from her because she is a white Jewish liberal woman. And she would go to different places and talk to these big gruff men about things. And whenever she got into a tough place with them, she'd ask about a shit your pants story.
Universal.
Everybody can relate.
It's
It's
universal.
so true.
Can't?
Yeah.
Either you're lying
You're lying.
or just wait.
Just wait.
Or you're lying and just wait.
Because karma's going to come back and it's going to happen again if you're lying.
Exactly.
You never know.
Everybody has one.
Yeah.
And a shout out to my friend Marcy, who was in the story, and we've known each other since we were 12 years old, and she's still one of my best friends. So
Oh, yay.
Love
It's
that.
so great to have friends that are bonded through that summer camp experience,
So
right?
true.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Also,
I didn't get to go to summer camp, so I relived it through summer stock, which was a different
nice.
a different kind of summer camp. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
I always wanted to go back to summer stock when I was an adult because I love those couples that did summer camp together. I thought that was so cool. The adult couple when I was like 21 years old. Going,
It's like, I'm going to be that.
well, you and Jeff could go do that.
Yes, you totally
Yeah.
could.
I suppose I don't even know if they do summer stock that much anymore, but maybe they
What do they do?
sure they do.
People make a living like that, Lisa. Just
I
on
know.
Also, Wendy, I used to party at Chastain Park when I was in high school too. So I bet we partied at the same time,
Oh my gosh.
We were probably there at the same time.
right? Like when did you? 91.
Now I was there. Well, I graduated in 90, so we must have.
We had to have. That's too funny.
Isn't that weird?
And
Right.
We're in the teen group.
The North Fulton kids always ruined it.
They were so mean. They were getting.
They're North Fulton kids. In
Yeah. And then you know what's so funny is my niece, who's just finished her first year of college, but she now they all hung out at Chastain Park.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
That's
there you
that's
go.
the spot. That's the spot.
Native Atlantans. All right.
Layering some Def Leppard. That's what we did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drinking some natty lights.
Probably. Probably.
All right.
Thank you.
Wendy, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. That was great. Fantastic.
So great.
Thanks.
So great.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Did you go to summer camp, Brittany?
Only 2 years for a week at a time.
Did you like
First
it?
year was great. The second year, I really think my counselor, was possessed with something because I couldn't stop crying.
Oh,
That's what I remember. Isn't that weird?
That's terrible.
Yeah, and it was a Bible camp. I didn't go
Oh.
back.
Oh, I wouldn't either if I spent the whole week crying.
Yeah, I don't know why I was crying, but I remember that.
Oh, that's terrible. How old were
Yeah.
you?
Maybe like 11, 12. So like what Wendy's saying. Yeah, but that first year was like lit. But then the next year they moved camps and we were on the lake. And I don't think I was liking the lake either. Maybe it had spirits too. I don't know.
Oh, very, very Friday the 13th. Camp was
Yeah, I don't know. Megan, did you go to camp?
I did. I went to Camp Toccoa in Toccoa, Georgia. It was a camp
Okay.
camp. Yep.
Okay. How long did you stay?
Oh God, as long as they would let me. Like Wendy, I enjoyed being away.
You enjoyed being away. Yes. Well,
But I did that for 5 years, and then when I started, like, then the acting bug bit me, and then I did like sleepaway drama camps.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to send Michael Hope to sleepaway drama camp.
Oh my God, she's gonna be great.
It's so bad. I don't know.
Oh my God, I forgot to tell you guys something, which would be so cool for people to know. But Mira Hirsch, who is a theater extraordinaire here in Atlanta,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
my drama counselor at camp, and she gave
Who's your counselor?
Very
Stop it.
drama, and she gave me my first solo at camp. The first solo I ever got was at summer camp, and it was "Don't Rain on My Parade" from Funny Girl.
Don't tell me.
Ended up casting me 20 years later. I got cast as Fanny Brown.
Oh,
That's
Wow.
amazing. Oh my God, Mira Hirsch. Yes.
So cool. That's so cool.
We need to get her on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mira talks like this.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She's so good. I love her.
Love Mira. Bye.
Bye, Wendy.
Yes, that's so good, Wendy. Oh, glad she brought up that. That's a
Yes.
good fact. Fun fact.
Megan, I think we can go to our musical guest,
Let's do it.
who is my good friend, Quentin Avery Brown. He is an artist and entrepreneur. He's the executive director of the Independent Artists Playhouse, an Atlanta-based theater company, and serves on the board of directors for Artists ATL. He has performed on stages throughout Atlanta, and he is a featured dancer and singer in the Christmas movie Christmas on the Square, now on Netflix, and the upcoming movie Tyler Perry's A Jazz Man's Blues. During the pandemic, he has spent time developing his own shows, such as Music and Pictures, Ladies of the 80s, Men of Motown, with the Aurora Welcome series. His Find Someone to Love is a summer song about getting out of your own way and allowing people to get close to you. The excuses you've made up for are no longer valid, and it's time to put yourself first. He told me it's not released yet, so this is like a mini world premiere.
What's going on, Horizon Theater? My name is Quentin Avery Brown, and this is my new single, Someone to Love. This is that summer jam. You're gonna be snapping, clapping those hands, and grooving to the beat. Open yourself up to love, everybody. It's 2021. This year I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna learn to live free. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Wanna find someone to love, to hold my hand on the street. Someone to lean on me, help me discover my dreams. Wanna find someone to love. I've been my own soulmate for a long time. I was good for a while, feeling real fine. I was focused on trying to be the best me, and at times I felt so lonely. I sat on the sidelines for so many years, watched the happy couples walk by without any fear. The cards are on the table, you called my bluff, and now I'm finally saying enough. This year I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna learn to live free. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Wanna find someone to love, to hold my hand on the street. Someone to lean on me, help me discover my dreams. Wanna find someone to love. I'm gonna cut the slack, I'm not holding back. There's nothing left to say, I'll be on my way. Basking in my truth while I got my youth. Ain't got no time to be stressed, I'm just feeling blessed. It's a brand new day, I'll be on my way. Looking for a clue to guide me to you. I'll be acting blind when I speak my mind. There's nothing left to say, cause I'm gonna learn to live free. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Wanna find someone to love, to hold my hand on the street. Someone to lean on me, help me discover my dreams. Wanna find someone to love. I'm gonna learn to live free. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Wanna find someone to love, to hold my hand on the street. Someone to lean on me, help me discover my dreams. Wanna find someone to love. Love, 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 love. Wanna find someone to love. Love, love, love.
He's here.
Hi.
Yay!
Yes, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
So good.
Yes. Now, Quentin, the big thing is, where did you record that video?
So it's so funny. Everybody's been sharing stories about camp. I actually ran away to the Poconos and I recorded that in the theater building of the camp that I am currently the theater director of. It's called Camp Lindenmere. And so, I was like, I'll just record one really quickly on the stage and send it in. So you see some props and set pieces in the background as well.
It was
Full circle. Full circle. Thank you. Thank you for
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be here.
How is camp going, by the way?
Camp is wonderful. It was a little tricky in the beginning because we had to do a whole bubble thing. Everybody had on masks. We did like 3 rounds of COVID tests. It's an overnight camp, so that's why it's a little stricter. And then after the 3 rounds of COVID tests came all back negative, the camp returned to normal. So it's been a blast.
That's wonderful.
How long were you there?
I am running away until August 16th, and they're trying to keep me here longer, but we'll see.
No, we got stuff to do. Sorry.
I went to the Poconos too.
Yes, it's beautiful. There's archery and horseback riding, swimming, trapeze, circus, like they do everything. It's the whole 9 yards.
Trapeze? That's
Yes.
I mean, just made lanyards in my.
I know, right? I just remember making cupcakes. Like you could just go bake.
There's a cooking class too. There's actually kids in the rec hall right now in the theater doing an activity. So if you hear a sound, that's them.
Love.
Quentin, what do you have coming up next to share with all of us?
So I developed 2 shows, as Brittany said, Ladies of the 80s and Men of Motown. Ladies of the 80s will be at the Jenny T. Anderson on August 21st, a part of the final show of the drive-in series. We're going to be Act 1 of 80s and 90s night, and India Tyree, who you guys also know, will be the second half of that show. Men of Motown show, we premiered that last month at the Aurora. It's going back to the Aurora on August 27th. And then that same weekend, Ladies of the 80s will also be making another appearance at another theater in town. So stay tuned for those dates. They're not officially released, but
you just plugging unofficial stuff. I love it.
It's official, but it's not official, but it's official.
We're here for we especially love the unofficial.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Quentin. Oh, he didn't even plug me. Why you didn't plug me?
Oh my goodness. So I've been fortunate enough to write a bunch of things, but Brittany, we've collabed a lot recently. So Brittany was the writer for Men of Motown. She wrote the scripts for the show. And then I got to pair up with her a few years ago at the Atlanta Musical Theater Festival and at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival for Sundays at 4. I got to write the title song.
Yeah.
So this is like a lifelong partnership. We'll be here for forever.
I don't know. I might just. I don't know.
Were you in Britney's musical?
I was not.
No.
I was not.
He just behind the scenes.
I got to help out with some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Got it.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Quentin.
Yes, thank you. That song is amazing.
Yeah, drop your handles so people can follow.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Quentin Speaks.
Great. Oh, right. It's not going to be fast enough. Daggone it. All right.
Yeah, that was fast, Britt.
That was fast.
Thanks. All right, Britt. See you then.
Take care, you guys.
That was so good.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah.
Okay. Next. So do we keep going?
Yeah.
I think we should.
More. Yep.
I think Lisa just chimed in and agreed as well.
Like, all right, keep it going, guys.
Step on it.
All this camp talk.
Enough poop.
Our third performer tonight, storyteller, is Enoch King. He is a Georgia native and a Horizon favorite, of course. He began his career at Tri-Cities High School Visual and Performing Arts. He became a member of the Freddie Hendrix Youth Ensemble of Atlanta, and since then, Enoch has been blessed for the opportunity to work all over town. He has new movie credits in the upcoming Samuel L. Jackson project, Uncle Drew, The Watsons Go to Birmingham, Drumline, The Fighting Temptations, and Medea's Family Reunion. He's also premiered in many commercials. But Enoch's greatest credit to his name was playing my big brother in Horizon's Sweetwater Taste Summer 2019. Ha! Welcome to the virtual stage, as Megan says, Mr. Enoch King.
Man, what's going on? Yo, I had to unmute myself. I did. Thank you. Can y'all hear me? Raise your hands if you can hear me. Lisa, raise your hand if you can hear me, Lisa. Thank you. Lisa, you ain't raise your hand or nothing. Disrespectful. What's going on, y'all? As y'all can see, I'm on the beach. I'm chilling, man, but I heard about this and I had to come out here and just enjoy myself, fellowship with all the people in Atlanta. My stories are also about poop. Nah, I'm playing. They're not. Mines are called Summer Joys and Summer Pains. I am not telling any stories about poop. All right, so in 1996, I did Dreamgirls. That was my like acting debut. I got to play Marty in Dreamgirls, and it was for the spring musical at Tri-Cities High School, Visual Performing Arts Magna program. That was my first role. I got to play James Thunder Early's manager. It was great. The show went so well though that they wanted us to do it. We did it in May and they wanted us to bring it back for the summer. So kids had already gotten out and they wanted us to come back and do it for a 2-week extension, man. So it was amazing to have that happen for like a high school musical. So that was the summer joy aspect of it. In addition to the summer joy, I also had was making my own money, being a camp counselor at, I forget the name of the space. It was a one-time camp. And what was I making? I'm making about $500 a month. But they separate, it was like $250 this week, $250 every 2 weeks. So, you know, when you about, what was I, 17, I'm balling. I am balling with $250. Let's go. So, but we got to go on different trips and stuff like that. And one of the trips we went on was Whitewater, right? So we get up, so we're going to Whitewater. I'm one of the camp counselors. I had no mind to go out there and go swimming. I didn't want to do it. I just wanted to enjoy and watch the kids because most of my time just consisted of me like yelling at random kids being like, Terrence, get off of that. Alexis, you can't don't put a head in the water. Alexis. So that was how most of my time was spent. But I finally was like, all right, I'm going to ride at least one ride on this thing, man. One ride, right? So I'm adjusting myself so I can be pretty. So I get on this, it's a ride with a tube. I don't know the name of it, help me. But I get on this ride, you sit on the tube, this big tire tube, and you just kind of going, it's not fast, it kind of flows a little bit in Whitewater. So I'm gonna sit and enjoy myself, you know, I've earned it, you know, summer joy. I'm about to get back on stage and do Dreamgirls, and I'm making money, I'm balling out here, it's amazing. So I get on the tube and I'm just sitting there and just riding, enjoying myself. I didn't know that this thing had a little, this deep little pool at one point of the ride. And so I hit it. All right, let me say this. I can swim, right? I just can't surprise swim. I can't be in the water and then immediately start swimming. Like there's a lot of things that happen in your mind. You'd be like, oh God, is this when it happens? Just like the gypsy foretold, I think I'm supposed to die this day. That's what happened. So I hit the water, and I get back out of the water, and my tube, my friend, the tube, my best friend, he is carried on. And I'm yelling at him. I'm like, Tube, my dude, where are you going? He's like, it's better this way. I'm sorry, my man. And so I gotta go on this ride by myself. So I get up out of this deep pool, I hit my knee, and I'm sliding down the pool without a tube on, without a tube. I wasn't naked. So I'm flowing down and I see the lifeguard who saw all of this happen, all of it. And I'm looking at him and my subtext is like Mufasa when he's on the cliff with the Lion King. I'm like, my brother, help me. And he's just like, long live the king. He just shakes his head and watch me slide without a tube all the way down in the water. How is that connected to Dreamgirls? Well, when I hit my knee, I thought everything was okay. Turns out I had water on the knee. So I spent the majority of that show just limping around talking about, Curtis, Jimmy's mine, man. You can't take Jimmy from me. So that's my summer pain, my summer joy, my summer pain. Now, I had one more story, but actually I'm just going to jump to the third one. So summer joy, 2015. There are some people that know, there's some people that don't know. For a long time, I spent my I had it in my head that my talent didn't translate outside of Atlanta. It was a fear that I had inside of me. So it made me very tentative and scared to go and do shows in other spaces, in other places, and around the country and stuff like that. In 2015, Tom Jones hit me up in May, and he's like, listen, I'm doing a show called Ann and Emmett, and it's going to be in Virginia. And I was like, yo, yeah, let's go. Who am I playing? Emmett Till. I'm like, yo, let's go. So I get a chance to work up at Metro Stage and do that show. And that was a wonderful experience. Now, in the midst of that, I'm also in Atlanta doing, I come back and we start rehearsals for Uprising at Horizon Theater, directed by Tom Jones. And so they were going to take Uprising and take some of the cast. He asked me and Cynthia D. Barker to go to Virginia because they were going to remount it up there with some of the other crew. So me and Cynthia were the only two people that got to go up to Virginia. So the summer consisted of me doing once Uprising ended in Atlanta, we went up to Virginia. And so I'm doing Ann and Emmett and Uprising. Like I'm going back and forth, back and forth. So it's summer joy. Now this summer joy extended into autumn joy. But it also extended into some autumn pain. So I'm doing a lot of shows. I'm doing a whole bunch of shows. I'm learning. I got 2 shows in my head. I'm ripping and running. I'm performing my behind off. And if you ever done a Tom Jones show, or you ever seen a Tom Jones show, you know it's a lot of energy. So let's add 2. I'm doing 2 Tom Jones shows at the same time. Needless to say, I'm looking all right body-wise. At the very least, I'm sweating it out. But one week I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling real weird, and I'm like, I'm real tired. I'm real lethargic. I'm trying to find out what's going on, and I ain't got a lot of energy. And I'm like, I need to go to a doctor or something. So I'm in Virginia, and I go to urgent care, and I'm sitting there, and I'll go. The doctor runs some tests, and he comes back, and he says, real matter of factly, he's like, yeah, you got walking pneumonia. I'm like, now that's the first time I ever heard of walking pneumonia. Never. So I called Cynthia, my best friend. I told her I had walking pneumonia. She started crying immediately. She's like, oh my God. I was like, it's fine. I'm good. I'm walking. It's just pneumonia. Don't worry about it. So I have to go to New Jersey to do Ann and Emmett. Ann and Emmett is a 90-minute show. I got to be on stage the entire time. It is physically draining. It is emotionally draining. We're performing at Police Academy. And once I get on stage, I can't come back off. So I have gospel music and the Hamilton soundtrack to listen to keep me motivated. I prayed. I prayed so hard. I was crying. I was like, please let me make it. Please don't let me pass out in this show. They got people backstage just waiting for me in case something happens and I just absolutely have to leave. But that actor's adrenaline kicked in, man. And I was able to finish the show. But the second I got on stage, I hit the ground. I didn't pass out, but I was just drained. But to have that experience, that was a first as well, to be in New Jersey, to go to New York and actually perform, which was one of my dreams. And to work outside of Atlanta, that was one of my dreams. I got to work with my best friend. That was one of my dreams. So I had a lot of summer joys in between these water on the knee and the walking pneumonia. So yeah, man, that's my story.
That was great. Thank you.
No
For a
problem.
second, you were describing the ride. I was like, did Enoch get lost on the lazy river? Like,
That's what I thought it was. It's not the lazy river.
I was like, Enoch got lost on the lazy
I
river.
think it was the lazy river. Okay. Does the lazy river have a little incline?
No, it's flat.
Then it was a ride because I climbed up the steps and then I was going down. It was just slow. I was cool. I hit that deep pool and came back up and my tube was gone and I hit my knee. I was like, oh no. And I remember watching that lifeguard see everything that gonna happen and I'm just sliding down and he just looked at me. He was like, I said, bro, you're not gonna help me.
I feel like
You
that's a
gave off
lifeguard's
the energy. Oh, go ahead, Megan.
No, I feel like that's a lifeguard's job is to help you.
Yeah.
Enoch was giving off the energy of I knew that the tube is gone. I can see the tube.
No context. Subtext. My eyes were like, I really was like, brother, help me. And he was
just felt.
Enoch, tell people a little bit about Ann and Emmett, who you guys performed for. That was pretty awesome that summer. How you performed and who you performed for.
We got to perform in a lot of different places. We got to go to Indianapolis. When we were in New Jersey, we got to perform for the police academy. So it wasn't a theater space, actually. It was like a lecture hall, like one of those college lecture halls. So they opened it up. The set is very minimal. So we got to do that. We also we got to go to Chicago that year, and Chicago is where Emmett Till where he was born, where he lived. And so when we got to perform in Chicago, I actually got to meet Emmett Till's family. I met Simeon Wright, who was the cousin that was in bed with him the night that he was taken. And so I heard right before we get on stage, and you know, as actors, we hate hearing this when people are like, did you know so-and-so and such is on stage? But I heard that I heard that they were going to be there, and I was like, oh. But I calmed myself and I was like, you know, this is important. And the only thing that I wanted was, I was like, I hope that I represent him in the best way, in the correct way that I possibly could. And his family was so wonderful. And I think his aunt, or I think Simeon's sister or someone, they asked me that I want to meet Simeon, and my hands were shaking. I was like, yeah. And so I met him. I just had tears in my eyes, man. I was like, man, I was speechless. I couldn't believe it. But his family was so grateful for us to be able to tell his story. In the same way that when we got to go to Amsterdam and we got to perform, and
because it was Anne Frank, so it's Anne Frank and Emmett Till. So did you perform at the Anne Frank?
We got to go to the Anne Frank house where the cast did. I wasn't able to make it. I think I was.
But you were performing.
I was probably under the weather
with the idea that was the Anne Frank connection.
Yeah, because they came and saw the show. I think they saw the show in Chicago and they were like, you guys have to come to Amsterdam. So I've done that show for about 5 or 6 years. And
this was, it was commissioned by, it was somebody famous, right? The wife of the Secretary of Defense, right?
It's Bill Cohen, Bill Cohen's wife, Janet Lauren Cohen. She wrote the script. So that allowed us, you had
a lot of connections.
They had a lot of connections. So we got to perform at the African American History Museum. So there were a lot of
in DC, you were part of the opening year, right?
Yes. Yeah. It was a whole thing. It's like trying to remember. It's like so many places that we went to, and getting a chance to see and meet a lot of those people, and then your brain just. It's like such an overload, because we got to walk around and tour the museum, and Emmett Till's coffin is there. It's in there. And so we got to see that and experience all of those things, man. It is absolutely amazing. Something I always take with me.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And in the summer,
like the extension of the summer.
Thank you for sharing all that.
Hey,
Thank
you. Thank you guys.
Nick, where can we see you next? What are you doing next?
I got some things coming up, but I can't say because I haven't gave up.
Well, you can say what you're doing at Horizon coming up, but that's a long time away, but not that long.
Yes, I can say that. So me and Cynthia D. Barker, we are doing the light next year, next March. Correct?
Yay.
Next March? Yes, next March.
That was our last show before we had to shut down, and it's going to be back.
Yeah, literally going into tech when everything shut down. We were one day away from going into tech, and we shut down on my birthday. So.
Oh, did we really? I didn't even know
Yes,
that.
yes. We went and got a drink, and that was the last time we were able to go out.
Oh gosh.
We did our first ever Facebook Live sneak peek the day after everything shut down. So
yes, the journey.
So we're back. We're back next March.
I can't wait to see that, Enoch. It's gonna be wonderful.
Ditto. Yeah.
See you guys.
Brittany, will you be my date?
What'd you say, Megan?
Will you be my date to that show?
Oh yes, that would be fun.
Are we gonna actually meet in person?
I know. Wait a minute, Megan. Not over Zoom?
I don't know what to do.
Are we gonna know each other?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I like to take it slow.
Yeah,
we've had so many good storytellers tonight.
I know. I love it. It's been good summer stories, making me not, hate Myrtle Beach as much. There's been walking pneumonia. People have gotten water on their knee. They've driven in the mountains. Myrtle Beach might not be so bad.
Probably not. God, there are no mountains there.
That's true. There's none.
Alabama's not there.
Right.
Oh, all right. What do you think? Should we bring up our last storyteller?
I think so.
Let's do it. All right. So our last storyteller, Lala Cochran, has spent the better part of her acting life at Horizon. Let's hope she's learned a thing or two since Escape from Happiness in Horizon's 94-95 season, which, sidebar, I saw that production and I thought it was amazing, Lala. And both Brittany and I have had the good fortune of sharing the stage with her. And during the pandemic, Lisa gave her the challenge of creating a cooking show to entertain all comers, and Cooking a la Lala was born. Let's not forget that Lala is also a multiple Suzy Award winner and an all-around awesome gal. So please welcome to the virtual stage, Lala Cochran. Woo!
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to hear some stories tonight. A lot of y'all probably know me from the many shows I've done at Horizon over the years, and my smash hit cooking show, Cooking a la la. So thanks for tuning in tonight. My story starts in way back and comes to last weekend. But most of y'all would probably not recognize the young Lala Cochran. I grew up in Nashville. I was a very well-behaved little girl. Went to youth group and vacation Bible school. I was a champion at the sword drill. When they give you a Bible verse, Leviticus 2:14, and you look it up. I got it. I was so fast at the sword drill. I won prizes for knowing my Bible and my Bible verses. I was also an exemplary high school student. I was on the student council, the honor council, varsity track and cross country. I did shows. I started an FCA, program at my school. And I was totally into Young Life. I loved Young Life. Most every spring break during high school, I did a Young Life trip. I didn't go to Daytona Beach and get a tattoo. I went to Young Life trip and sang hymns. Anyhow, it was a great childhood. And I had the best parents. We all think we have the best parents, but my parents were wonderful. And I would sort of, if you have to put a label, and you don't, but I like to, let's say kind of Reagan conservative Presbyterian Southern proper household where I grew up. And my dad, may he rest in peace, he had a saying that I think it applied to everybody, but it seemed to have only applied to me. The saying was, kid, if you got it, flaunt it. So what he was saying, I think, was don't hide your light under a bushel. Matthew 5:14-15. I still got it. And my mom also was just incredibly supportive. She showed up to every basketball game, cross country, track meet, the speeches, the shows, debates, everything. My mom was there. And I have an interesting memory of my mom, Anita, who's I think watching. In 3rd or 4th grade, elementary school, there was a Halloween costume contest, and Anita suggested I go as Lady Godiva. Mama, who's Lady Godiva? Oh, she's this woman who rode around naked on a horse. Okay, my mom is not some subversive hippie character. She's, you know, the one I was telling you about, Reagan conservative. I think the reason she suggested Lady Godiva was I already had a nude colored tights and leotard from ballet, and that we could just get a wig to cover up the lady parts that weren't there yet. And also it would be a lot easier and cheaper than like building a Bride of Frankenstein wig. So Lady Godiva it was. So here you've got, kid, if you got it, flaunt it. And why don't you go as Lady Godiva? Okay, well, that's all behind me. Fast forward, college. I go to college. I went to UNC Chapel Hill, great school. And honestly, the first 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks I was there, I wasn't really paying attention to that stuff that goes on at college. In fact, I went to a Billy Graham crusade at Kenan Stadium, like the first night I was invited to a frat party. You know, like a party at the SAE house. I went to the Billy Graham crusade, all right? Okay, well, it didn't take long for the college experience to grab me by the shoulders and stick its claws in, and I didn't fight it. I learned about beer bongs, I learned about bongs, I learned about boys, and all those Bible verses and Billy Graham were in a blurry, distant rear view mirror. Okay, so here I am loving life, learning how to party like a champ at Chapel Hill. And I was working there one summer and had to come back to Nashville for a family wedding. My cousin was getting married, and normally my sister, who was closer to this cousin, would have been the bridesmaid, but she was out of the country doing good, making the world a better place. So I was tapped to represent the family at this wedding. Okay, well, so the rehearsal dinner was that Friday night, and it was lovely, but a little bit tame for my new, you know, party persona. So when that was over, I decided I wanted to go find some trouble. But do know 2 things. A, I still had a curfew. My mom's motto was, if you're staying in our house, you play by our rules. If you want to stay out all night, you get your own place. Okay, 1 o'clock curfew. Meanwhile, no, the wedding is a noon wedding the next day. All right, so I found trouble. 6'3", handsome, little bit of a galoot, but perfect for that night. We go have some drinks, have a good time. And I said, let's go to Percy Warner Park. And let me tell you a little bit something about Percy Warner Park. It is 2,000 acres of a heavenly sanctuary in Nashville, a mile from the house I grew up in. Did my first road race there when I was in 5th grade. Trained for cross country, middle school, high school, every season, trained in that park. My dad and I did dozens, if not hundreds of hikes and bikes in this park. So many things in this park, and it's just a heavenly beautiful place that I will always and continue to treasure. So anyhow, Trouble and I go to the park. I suggest, why don't we go down and run through those sprinklers? That'd be fun. And then I say, well, we ought to take our clothes off, because if I go home and my clothes are all wet, Mom and Dad are going to know I was up to no good. So we take our clothes off and head down to the sprinklers. But our journey was interrupted by 3 police cars with their lights pointing right up at us. Neighborhood police, park police, and the Nashville police, all there, headlights. I was not hiding my light under a bushel. The headlights were on my bush. I'm telling you, this was not a good situation, but I was certain I could talk my way out of it. I had the gift of gab. I knew we were going to get out of it. Officer, I just live around the corner. It's fine. No. Handcuffs. They let us get dressed first. Handcuffs in the police car, go downtown to the jail, okay? So here we are getting booked for indecent exposure. I mean, the only people who saw us were those nosy cops. We weren't doing anything wrong. It was just illegal. Anyway, I'm still thinking I can talk my way out of this. We're at about midnight at this point. Curfew's looking a little dicey. I get to make a phone call. I call my mom, and instead of saying, look, I'm in big trouble, I need your help, I said, hey, Mom, hey, we were on our way home, and Trouble had a flat tire, and so he's fixing it right now. I might be a little bit late, but don't worry, I'm fine. Well, time passes, tick, 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 tick. I had to call back. I got to call back. And I said, you know what? We were coming home. We thought he fixed the tire, but it flew off and it went down into a creek or something. And it became apparent that I wasn't going to get out of jail on my own gift of gab. And I don't know how the word got to my parents, but I have a memory of your daughter was found butt naked in Percy Warner Park, the sanctuary of family memories. So it turns out, sun's coming up, huh? The wedding is in a few hours, and my dad picks me up at jail. It was awful. I was devastated. His disappointment was excruciating. His anger and disappointment were so great, he couldn't speak. So it was that drive of silence. And we didn't get to go home. I didn't get to go home and take a shower. We went straight to the church sanctuary. And this was the same church where I went to vacation Bible school and did my sword drill championships, the choir, all this stuff. This was that church. My mother meets me there with the bridesmaid's dress. I don't shower. I'm sure I'm hungover. I look like hell. And we had to be there, you know, early for pictures and all that wedding stuff. And nobody said anything, but everyone must have known that something was going on with the Cochrans, because the Cochrans are usually so happy. We were not happy. None of us. Anyhow, this was a real time of shame and I don't want to say estrangement from my parents, but a great disappointment. I don't know if either one of them were more disappointed than the other, but it was awful. I mean, we've all had that silent car ride somewhere, and we didn't speak of it for years. And then I looked back and I realized, you know, at some point the story sort of changed and the story was getting told. It wasn't this shameful thing. It was kind of this funny thing that happened to Lala, or that Lala made happen. Oh, Lala. And I think I heard even my mom tell the story to somebody one time. And so the good news about the narrative changing and what I think in my situation, my story turned out okay. You know, I found what I love to do. And there are a lot of things I love to do. And the good news is that I didn't turn into some wanton serial nudist. You know, didn't happen. So anyhow, there's supposed to be a picture coming up here. I don't know if y'all can see it. Oh, there it is. Oh yes, there she is. What's that? Okay, let me tell you about this. There was a certain election, presidential election in 2008. I'm not going to talk about politics or party because we don't need to do that. We can all coexist. We don't need to talk about politics or party. But this particular presidential election in 2008, I was thrilled about. I can't tell you, I was thrilled. And I just decided that I needed to express my immodesty and my elation through this, act of streaking. And then there were several other ones that followed. There was a Senate race in Alabama in 2018. We're not going to talk about politics or party, but and then there was a congressional race in Pennsylvania. I took my clothes off for. I was so excited. So these things launched these additional expressions of unclothed exaltation. Oh yeah, that. Okay, yeah, that was November 7th of 2020. Again, we don't need to talk about politics or party, but it was just a freaking great day for most of my friends and all of my friends and most of my family, not everybody. Okay, well, we've barely gone into the new year and I suffer another spasm of nakedity. Look, there she is again, people. I just can't help myself. Okay, y'all, you know how in a musical, and I know you do because you're theater people, people in musicals break into song and dance when there aren't words enough to express their joy. Well, I'm not much of a singer or dancer, so I don't break into song and dance. I break into naked. Woo! I can't help myself. And so anyway, I was at home visiting my mom in Nashville last week and decided to go visit, as I often do, the scene of the crime, the literal crime of indecent exposure. And I thought, how about we do a little streak for old time's sake? And as my dad, Bill Cochran, used to say, kid, if you got it, flaunt it. And there you go.
God, yes, that picture of the
Oh my God. I can't believe I missed this naked part of your past. I can't believe I've not known about this, particularly the Biden. Oh my God, what a great shot with you with the blue.
I know, I had props, I had costumes.
You did.
I had props.
You said I had costumes.
I know, and as long as I've known you, I did not know about your religious upbringing, Billy Graham in college. I was like, you had to tell that story to good parents because all the parents would be going, oh my God, my children are going to college and be corrupted and they're going to turn into great actresses.
That's right.
They're either going to get corrupted at camp or at college. So
I know. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Your ass has appeared on your stage.
I know, absolutely. Mine has too back in the day. So.
Sisters in bottoms.
That's right. plenty of nakedity.
Lala, I'm jealous. You put more into politics than I have.
So I have a stupid question. What's FCA? I don't know what FCA is.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Oh, Lisa, you pagan.
Oh, you pagan.
Or you just weren't an athlete. You were.
I grew up Catholic, so we're not. Okay. No, Catholics aren't Christians in the same way.
Oh Lord. Lala, is your mom here?
Way.
Is your mom here?
My mom, I think, is watching.
I'm watching.
If she is, Mother, I love you. Thanks for raising a wanton hussy.
Right.
Loving me nonetheless.
And on that note, that is our show, everybody. Yes. Can we please bring all the storytellers up here just to have them take a curtain call?
Yay.
Yes. Thank you, Enoch and Wendy and Quentin and Tally.
I gotta get Wendy up there. All right. We have our other folks too. Let's see who else is here. I don't think the other ones.
Amazing.
Thank you guys so much. Yes, that's our show, everyone. Our next show will be August 16th, and it will be a local restaurant themed show. We're so excited. And Megan and I will be reporting live from a restaurant.
Oh my God, we're gonna meet.
Oh my God.
What is happening?
You want to reveal our guest, our main guest? Or are we gonna hold off on that?
No, I think go ahead, Britt.
No, you go, Megan. You go.
Jenny Levinson of Super Jenny. What? Telling a story. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're gonna have some restaurant owners and some restaurant horror stories from wait staff too. A mixture of both, right?
And I'll be excited to eat and drink on the Zoom. Sorry, Lisa.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to eat food. And we'll be posting this show on our Facebook and YouTube pages on Friday. If you know anyone who has any storytelling shows, or if you your storytelling tales, or if you yourself want to tell a story, please email us at southbound@Horizon Theater.
Yes. And everyone, you can go ahead and just unmute yourself and give everybody one more round of applause.
Yay.
Yay. Yes. All right. Well, I'm Megan.
And I'm Brittany.
And this was Southbound True Life Tales
from the ATL and beyond.
See you next time, everybody.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yay.